Hey, what's up? This is Christian from Ill Niño, and you are listening to Onslaught Radio.
This is Onslaught Radio. I'm Natalie, and this evening I'm backstage at the Kick Out the Jams Festival, and I'm talking to the vocalist from Ill Niño. This is Christian. Hi, Christian.
Hello, everybody.
And I understand that on Monday you were out in Australia for Soundwave.
Yeah.
How was that for you?
It was, the festival was pretty amazing. We had a very killer slot, and we're very lucky to be out there and just party with a whole bunch of great bands. So it was a great time. I had a great time. The guys in the band had a great time. Our crew members had a great time because they were getting wasted every day, so they were just happy.
Awesome. And you touched on the fact that there were a load of amazing bands out there. Were there any bands that beforehand you were particularly excited about performing live with?
Well, I was very excited about going on before Slayer, even though I had my apprehensions about that. But our slot was right before Slayer and after Dimmu Borgir. And it was very interesting. You know, in a lot of places in the world, that slot wouldn't have worked for a band like ours, but in Australia we have an amazing fan base that just showed us so much love, and it really was something to remember. You know, I mean, I don't think that in the U.S. we would have been able to go on before Slayer and have their fans accept us, but in places like Australia they do, and it was great bands out there. We hung out with the guys from 36 Crazy Fist a lot, the guys from Dimmu a lot. Hung out with our friends from Seven Dust, which we've known for many, many years. I don't know if they've ever gotten to come out here.
I don't think I have yet, no.
We hung out with a cool new band called Rise to Remain. I don't know if you guys have heard of them.
They're awesome. Really good.
Yeah, really cool band. And we smoked a lot of pot with the guys from Bring Me the Horizon.
Fair enough.
Also a very cool band.
Awesome. So obviously you've toured a lot of different places now. Do you notice that there's a difference between how the fans react to you in different places?
Well, our fans, usually react to us pretty consistent, you know. I think that they're very driven by the music, and I think that our music is a very universal kind of thing. You know, we're a heavy band, but we're not just a band for, you know, the younger generation. We can also appeal to the older crowds and stuff like that. So the reaction we usually get is the same. It just depends on who we're playing with and the other bands that are on the bill, you know. But if you were to consider, like, okay, when you guys headline, how do the reactions around the world differ? You know, it's a pretty consistent thing. We get a lot of love from all our fans all over the world. Sure, some places are a little bit crazier than others, but usually if the crowd isn't responding the way we'd like to, we eventually get them to get just as psyched about the show as we are. So, you know, sometimes you just gotta, like, hey, you know, get your money's worth. You're here to have a good time, and we don't want you to get hurt, but we want you to sweat, basically.
And obviously today is your first date of the UK leg of your tour. Mm-hmm. What can the fans expect from the tour that's coming?
6 really jet-lagged guys. No, I'm kidding. I don't know. Just a great show, you know. We've been on tour for like almost 2 months already. We're not much of a break, so, we're sounding good and ready to go. And as long as we can, you know, be rested, maybe get a little bit of food and drink a little bit of vodka before the show, things should go smoothly.
And the tour is off the back of...
Other than if, you know, one of our pieces of gear got broken in all the flying that we had to do, but we'll figure that out during the show if it happens.
And the tour's off the back of your Dead New World album. Can you tell us a bit about the album, please?
Well, the album is a great record. We're very proud of the record. We really gelled the most we've ever gelled since a really long time, especially Aru and I. You know, he lived at my house for like a couple of months while we were writing the record and recording all the pre-production to the record. So it was, I think it's one of those records where we finally were able to find the common ground between us as musicians rather than battle what the differences are between us as musicians. And we kind of brought back the band camaraderie between each other, you know. Whereas before we would write very individual songs, you know, and bring them to the table. I think that this time around, instead of battling what the things are that we didn't like about each other's tastes, we were just looking for that common ground. And, you know, it was a lot of stress, but and a lot of sleepless nights of, you know, just, you know, Aru and I staying up till very, very late in the morning, you know, contemplating riffs and melodies and, you know, lyrics and content, basically. And but instead of really, you know, struggling through the things that make us different, we tried to find the things that that make us band members and friends. So I think it was just about really finding bringing back that band membership camaraderie and, you know, the friendship between us back into the band. Which some people may not know, but we live spread out all over the U.S. So, you know, it's very tough to have that in a band when everybody's spread out all over the U.S. and everybody has to fly in for rehearsals and things like that. So, you know, we focused on that mainly.
And the latest album's been on a new label after being on Roadrunner for quite a long time. Would you say that that's affected the latest album?
I don't know if it's affected it. I think that it allowed us to really, really put away the dagger. You know what I'm saying? And to really just focus on our friendship and our, you know, our tastes and the things that make us alike. I wouldn't say that the label affected it at all. They really were amazingly open to whatever it is that we wanted to do, and they allowed us to make the record on our own pretty much, except for 2 songs that were co-produced with Sahaj and Clint Lowry from Seven Dust. But other than that, I think our label really did a great job at just allowing us to really focus on being a band again without too many overlying pressures.
And how's the latest album been received by your fans?
They love it. Our fans love the record, and we feel blessed and thankful, you know, to still have our fan base and to have a great fan base that basically just wants us to be Ill Niño, you know, and you know, without them we wouldn't be here. And you know, we have the world to give back to them. And actually during the recording of the record, that was probably the main thing we were focusing on, is our fan base, you know, our fans that have been with us for so many years. And nothing else really mattered to us. You know, it was mainly about being friends again and being close band members, songwriters again, and thinking of our fans.
And do you personally have a favorite track on the album?
It's tough. I kind of don't. You know, I could tell you what song I hate the most.
Okay.
The cover of Smashing Pumpkins.
Fair enough. And obviously the UK dates include an appearance at a festival later on. I believe it's Hammerfest, and it's the first time you've been there, isn't it?
I have no idea. We've been touring for 10 years, so, you know, the mind kind of tends to stray sometimes. I don't know. I think it's the first time we'll be playing it. We've been to the festival that they held before, but we didn't play. We were just there making a cameo appearance.
Fair enough. So are you looking forward to it anyway?
Absolutely. I'm looking forward to every show, to be honest. I mean, we haven't been in the UK in a really long time. And I'm just happy to be back and happy to, and, you know, just thankful and blessed to still have our fans.
I'm sure everyone wants me to ask if there's any chance at all of a UK festival appearance, maybe this year or next year?
Sure, there's a chance. I'm not sure that anything's confirmed right now, but, you know, there was talks about it. I hope so. It would really be great.
And what have you got planned for after the European dates?
After these European dates, we're taking a week off and going to South America. And after South America, you know, that's when we'll be contemplating if we're coming back for some festivals in the UK.
And obviously the band's been going for well over 10 years now. What would you say has been the highlight so far for you personally?
That's tough. I really don't have like one particular highlight. I think the whole... I guess my highlight would just be being able to come from South America, move to the US, and meeting, you know, a bunch of dudes that wanted to make the same kind of music I did. That's really the highlight, you know. There isn't really like one particular thing, you know. I really love all the shows. It doesn't matter if there's 500 kids or 5,000 or 50,000 kids, you know. To me, our fans are everything to us, and you know, the highlight really is just being able to play with the guys in my band and have a good time.
And finally, for unsigned bands out there that would like to maybe one day be as big as you, what kind of advice would you give them?
I would definitely give them the advice to be original. You know, be original and find the right people to play with. As they say, squeaky wheel gets the oil. But in music, squeaky wheel, you usually have to take it off and throw it away. So find the right people to play with and be original and be really critical of yourself, you know. Try not to copy too many bands because too many bands already do that. And be critical of yourself, you know. Let a lot of people hear your music and tell them to be honest about what they think, and not usually your best friends because they'll usually tell you rule anyway. But, you know, just random people that don't really know you, let them hear your music. Get a good recording also, or else they'll be judging you the wrong way, you know. Don't think that you could just take 2 microphones, put them in your rehearsal room, and then, like, this is what I'm going to show everybody, and they're going to think it's great. Because, you know, chances are your friends will think it's great, but, you know, you're not going to be judged properly. You know, you want something that sounds comparable to what other bands put out.
That's awesome. Well, thank you very much for talking to Onslaught Radio.
Oh, thank you guys for doing the interview.